All right, the Star Trek graphic novel collection. I always like to introduce these. Now, this is a thing from Eaglemoss. They were collecting every Star Trek book ever, and they've got it right here. And what happens is the spines form a little picture across the entire deal. It's beautiful when they're all assembled. They got to 140 volumes before it got canceled, and they got most of everything prior to IDW's license, except for DC Comics number 32 through 80. I wish they would have collected that prior to like this stuff. But unfortunately, they did a lot of this stuff in the beginning, maybe to make people try to stay around for the older stuff. I don't know. But this is 2009 Star Trek. And the concept here was like, what if the 2009 Star Trek had the episodes that they had before? And so they had Return of the Archons was right here. And Captain Kirk and company actually go down to a planet, and it's controlled by a computer, and they're having to deal with this as the people worship this computer down there. Pretty neat stuff. And what happens is writer Mike Johnson actually does a really good job of reimagining it in that 2009 style to where the stories are similar to what they were before, but they're different now. And I might be doing my stuff backwards here because I think that might be the second storyline. Yes, it is. The first one is actually something completely different. This one is actually showing, it's his take kind of on Balance of Terror, but it's very different. So Captain Kirk and whatnot go to the Romulans, and there's like Cerex on there, and the Vulcans have this red matter thing, and the Romulans want this as a weapon. They steal it. And they're going to try to like basically hold the galaxy hostage, in the name of Nero. And Captain Kirk and Spock stop them in that. So it works out a little better than Balance of Terror. Balance of Terror obviously wouldn't work given the continuity of how Star Trek went for this. But then it gets into Return of the Archons. I'm sorry. And so here it is. You see that kind of like world where they're all kind of zombie clones here coming after each other. But it turns out they're descendants of this old starship. And this was off Starfleet's records, and there's a little plot thread building here also where Starfleet's not happy and not wanting this stuff to get known out there. So cool stuff. He actually did a really good job of this. Like actually, the first volume I read of this, I was like, oh man, do I even want to check this out? Because like it's Star Trek 2009. But as I read this, these are really well written stories, and Mike Johnson did a great job on the writing on this, and actually the art's pretty good too. All the way around, which is, sometimes it's hit and miss on these Star Trek stories. Now, the best part of all these volumes is actually the back. Oh, they did Troubles with Tribbles at the end. Sorry. They did a third story in this volume. I read it a couple weeks ago, and it's like, it's not fresh in my mind anymore. Got to do these reviews right away. But, Troubles with Tribbles. Scotty uses his trans warp beaming, which was established in the 2009 movie and then never used again conveniently. Or was that Into Darkness? I think it was Into Darkness. But he used that to like beam Tribble to Earth, and they had a major problem with it, and they had to figure out how to get rid of them. So he twisted that again to fit the Star Trek 2009 deal. Really good. And so this was really a lot of fun to read all the way around. Now the best part of this collection is Star Trek Gold Keys in the back. Now they run one Gold Key comic per issue, and a lot of them have never been collected before. So you get this like old 1972 Star Trek. This is written by Len Wein, who of course did a lot of work for Marvel and DC Comics. He did Swamp Thing prior to Alan Moore. He actually edited Watchmen, and then he actually created Wolverine. So pretty neat stuff as he worked on the Hulk. And he did a bunch of Star Trek, and this is really good stuff right here. This like Reaper guy kind of shows up, and he is on the ship, and he's like a god almost technologically. It feels a lot like an original series episode. Look at the art on this too; it's very 70s and cool. And look at how dynamic it is. I love the older art styles here. I wish they'd go back to it quite a bit. But he ends up going to a world. He thought it was a paradise, but his brother took over, and now it's a hellhole, and they have to fight to save this world, and they do so. And then, of course, he stays there and sends the Enterprise back on their merry way. Really fun issue. Probably the best Gold Key one I've seen so far out of the 13 issues. And this is it, Star Trek Vulcan's Vengeance, volume, they call it volume 14 on here, and it's the second volume of the IDW 2009 Star Trek, and it's good to go. All right, I call this an 8 out of 10 overall. Fun stuff, and happy hunting finding these books because they're out of print now. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.